Whatever they are, whatever the film or the Eurovision drama, it's coffee time. This is Emmanuel calling from Coffee Break, where we take a break and discuss about films, Eurovision and much more. Grab yourself a mug of hot tea or coffee, take a sip and let's dive into this. Let's talk about my 2027 Oscar predictions for Best Picture. The clear frontrunner here is The Odyssey. I have finally watched the movie and oh my god, it's absolutely one of the best movies of the year. I gave it 9 out of 10, 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I did have a few issues with the editing and some of the performances, like Tom Holland's performance, for instance, didn't work for me. Do I think it can win Best Picture? I'm not really sure. I mean, it could pull off a Best Picture win similar to Gladiator, for instance, or Braveheart, or those epic in scope movies. I don't think it's a 100% lock for a Best Picture win, but it's a 110% lock for a Best Picture nomination. La Bola Negra. La Bola Negra is my runner-up. Netflix has announced that it's going to be their biggest theatrical release. They are clearly backing this film up and they're going to campaign the shit out of it. And why wouldn't they? It has very acclaimed reviews. It's an ambition LGBTQ drama. It has also an epic scope similar to The Odyssey, but it's also a historical film of sorts. It's very prestigious. It won Best Director at Cannes along with Paweł Pawlikowski. It has a bunch of tech prospects. It has lots of prospects in the above the line categories like director and in the acting categories. It's one of the safest films to predict to get into Best Picture as of right now. Digger, Alejandro G. Iñárritu's upcoming film, is also a firm lock. It's looking at a Best Actor win, possibly an original screenplay win as well. Lots of below the line prospects and John Goodman. There's just so much about it that can appeal to Academy members. Tonally, I'm not sure if it's an Oscar-y film per se, but Alejandro G. Iñárritu is just one of those filmmakers where whatever they come up with, it's going to appeal to Academy Awards members to a certain extent, right? Dune Part 3 is one that I have been skeptical about earlier on in the season, but the more I've thought about it, the more it makes sense to be nominated and potentially outperform its two preceding films. Denis Villeneuve might come along for the ride. Adapted screenplay is on the table. Some acting prospects might occur, and it's safely in Best Picture right now. Project Hail Mary wraps up my top 5. It made a gigantic splash at the box office. It's a crowd pleaser. It has Best Actor prospects. It has a ton of below the line category prospects. We have to include a few blockbusters in our Best Picture lineup, and Project Hail Mary is for sure one to look out for. Then we have a film that I have very much so been opposed to including in my Best Picture prediction, but I have finally come around to it: Obsession. I think that Obsession has a very low nomination ceiling, but the acting and above the line prospects it has are major. I think it can win Best Actress. I think that it has a very good shot of receiving a Best Original Screenplay nomination. And I mean, you're telling me that DGA and Critics' Choice will not go for Obsession? I mean, they're going to do it. And in a field of 10, I just think that Obsession, with its zeitgeisty and very in the moment, right here, right now, feel, will make it to the Best Picture lineup. Then I have to include an international film, right? So I basically had to look at the Cannes Film Festival lineup and pick another movie from there. We already have La Bola Negra as our international contender, but I also think that Ryusuke Hamaguchi's All of a Sudden has a very good chance of receiving a Best Picture nomination. That the screenplay could come along for the ride, maybe an acting category or two, I'm not really sure, but I can definitely see a Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best International Feature combo here. And similar to The Secret Agent, it might outperform the Palme d'Or winner, this year being Fjord. The Invite. The Invite is an incredible film, right? I currently have it in Best Director for Olivia Wilde, which would be an inspired choice. I have it in Best Actress, also for Olivia Wilde. I have it in Best Supporting Actress and Best Supporting Actor, and I have it winning Adapted Screenplay. Of course, I have to include it in my Best Picture lineup, don't I? That being said, I do have my doubts about its chances in the Best Picture category in particular. A lot of very stagey movies where it feels like it's a play or it takes place within a space chamber pieces. Films like Blue Moon or The Whale, none of them had any problems getting nominated in the writing categories, but both of those films that I mentioned missed the Best Picture lineup. I just can't predict a film to get in Best Director and Best Screenplay and 3 acting categories and not have it in Best Picture. I mean, that would be crazy, right? Now it's time for a curveball. Are you ready? Club Kid. Club Kid had immensely positive reviews from the Cannes Film Festival. It's supposed to be a crowd pleaser, and it might pull off a Nickel Boys or a Past Lives, where it gets in an writing category and then it gets in Best Picture, and we are all shocked. So my early No Guts, No Glory prediction is that Club Kid is going to be nominated in Best Picture. Now, before giving you my final slot, I will talk briefly about some other contenders. Fjord is a movie that might get a Best Director nomination, a Best Original Screenplay nomination is nearly a lock, I think, and Best International Feature. Now, why don't I think Best Picture will not come along for the ride? It's just a vibe I'm getting. It's not a very easily digestible movie. That doesn't mean that it can't get nominated for Best Picture. I mean, Tar wasn't an easily digestible movie, but I just have this feeling where it misses Best Picture to a more palatable film. I also don't think that the acting prospects are that strong. Then Wild Horse 9 is obviously a movie that I should have in my predictions, but I just don't, because we've had so many movies that were absolutely looking like major awards contenders and then received 0 nominations. Jay Kelly comes to mind, other movies, and I just can't predict a movie to get 9-10 nominations without a solid reason. And I don't mean just for it to be directed by a prestigious filmmaker who's had award success in the past. That's never been a guarantee for a movie to be a successful Oscar player. And Wild Horse 9, from the trailers, seems like a very enjoyable movie. I'm just not convinced that it's going to be this massive awards juggernaut. And it might get original screenplay, it might get some acting nominations, but until the first reactions, until it premieres at the Venice Film Festival or at TIFF, then I just can't include it in my 10. Elsinore is also a movie that I'm very curious about its reception as a movie. When it comes to its acting prospects, Andrew Scott is a major lock. It's he's pushing for that best Oscar win. I'll have to watch both movies, both Digger and Elsinore, to come up with my own mind about who would I give the Oscar to. But Elsinore is on my radar for Best Picture. I also watched the trailer for Josephine, and oh my god, Mason Reeves, Channing Tatum and Gemma Chan might all be looking at Oscar nominations here. Can the movie completely blank? It can, but there have been Sundance films where they completely outperformed their expected outcomes, and Josephine is a movie that can get a original screenplay nomination, and it has acting prospects, and all of that can add up to a Best Picture nomination, which I'm currently not predicting. I'm not predicting Josephine in this particular video, but I'm definitely keeping an eye out for it. Ink, Danny Boyle's film, was one that I immediately included in my Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay predictions as soon as Netflix acquired it. And then I have sort of thought more about it, and I also, similarly to Wild Horse 9, have to see what the first reviews are to judge whether it's that kind of an awards contender or it's just contending in Best Supporting Actor, of course, for Guy Pearce, who I think is a major lock as of right now. If Disclosure Day gets a Best Picture nomination, I will jump out of my seat, and it would be incredible and inspired nomination. But the word of mouth has been so poor. Critically, it's fine. It made not that much money. It's a movie that might get a PGA nomination, a Critics' Choice nomination is on the table. It's only locked for a few tech categories, and then maybe Emily Blunt comes along for the ride. The Social Reckoning, I'm not feeling very much. It has some acting prospects, it has Best Adapted Screenplay prospects. It's definitely a movie that could get 0 Oscar nominations, but we'll have to wait and see how it does critically. Artificial. Is Artificial a thing? Neon acquired it. It's going to place at the fall festivals, and it has a very interesting concept, right? A very interesting and intriguing premise. It's a Luca Guadagnino film, which means that I should not predict it, but it has me very excited, and it's August. We are allowed to have some fun with our predictions, and Artificial might get an acting nomination or 2. It might get original screenplay. It might actually be a very zeitgeisty and very talked about movie. It might have lots of buzz from the fall film festivals, and it might slip into Best Picture in early 2027. Behemoth is a movie that I have very little faith. It might be very divisive. It might be the After the Hunt of this year. It might be the Tar of this year. Pedro Pascal might or might not be a contender in Best Actor, and I'm not convinced that it's going to be this slam dunk, prestiged drama from a acclaimed director making a comeback. I'm just not going to go there. It's extremely dangerous to predict it right now, and I'm just not going to take the bait here. I'm just not going to. I'll wait for it to premiere at NIF, I believe, the New York Film Festival, and then maybe I'll have to include it in my Oscar predictions. And finally, The Debut. The Debut is a film that I'm currently predicting to win in 2 acting categories, and original screenplay and original song might come along for the ride. I just think that The Invite is going to be A24's best chance of getting a Best Picture nomination, and we haven't watched The Debut, whereas we have watched The Invite, so I can't confidently just place it in my Best Picture lineup where The Invite is the far superior contender. But who do I think is getting a Best Picture nomination? It's Michael. oh my god, Michael might just be nominated in Best Picture. I was very doubtful after watching the movie. I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was very average, very superficial. I didn't really get involved emotionally. It was just a very impressively produced movie. It's a crowd pleaser, one could argue. It made wonders at the box office, but then it's a Michael Jackson biopic, and of course it made a lot of money, right? But I'm starting to think that it might get a PGA nomination and a Critics' Choice nomination and maybe Golden Globes Drama nomination, and then it might get an editing nomination, and that's the bit of it where I'm starting to get really nervous. We've had movies in the past like F1 where it's a blockbuster. Granted, we have already 3 blockbusters with The Odyssey, Dune Part 3, and of course Project Hail Mary. But I just have this gut feeling where Michael might actually pull off a Best Picture nomination. So my early 2027 Best Picture Oscar prediction is The Odyssey, La Bola Negra, Digger, Dune Part 3, Project Hail Mary, Obsession, All of a Sudden, The Invite, Club Kid, and Michael. And that is a wrap. Thanks so much for watching, I do appreciate it. Also, make sure to follow me on multiple social media platforms, including Letterboxd, for more film-related content, and X, and Gold Derby. I'm on Gold Derby as well. The links are in the description. Can't wait for more coffee breaks. And until next time, pour yourself a fresh one.